We are about to watch a parole hearing that has a twist that might get you totally by surprise. Now, this hearing that we're about to see, there's not much that goes on. It's not super exciting, but it's what happens at the end that will keep you on your toes. And with that, let's jump in.
Stephen Loeber DOC number 87251. You're a fifth class offender. Parole eligibility date 1/10/2023. Good time date 5/11/2045. Full term date 1/10/2053. 50-year sentence. For 3 counts of simple burglary, armed robbery, aggravated battery. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
Hi, would you answer Mr. Marabella, please?
So how do you pronounce your last name?
Loeber.
Loeber.
L-O-E.
Okay, I thought that's what I thought. I'd heard something different. Mr. Loeber, my name is Tony Marabella. Your case was assigned to me, so I'll start questioning. Mr. Loeber is 62 years old, is that right?
66.
66, okay. And how long have you been in prison on these charges?
Almost 20 years, be 20 years January 10th.
Mr. Loeber, in looking at your file and looking at your history, tell me what was going on with you 20 years ago.
I was working as an automotive technician and I injured my back and I was prescribed Oxycontin and became addicted to the Oxycontin. And while going through withdrawals, I was desperate and robbed a man for his truck.
And what else did you do?
I assaulted him and took his truck.
What about the other burglaries?
That was when before I robbed Mr. Bouchard, my victim. I'd gone through some vehicles looking for car keys, trying to steal a car.
And then you got caught at the casino trying to cash a check?
I wasn't trying to cash a check. The girl that I
Well, the
had,
girl you was with tried to cash a check.
right.
And they found other items on you,
Yes, sir.
and you basically confessed, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell me, Mr. Loeber, who you are today. How have you dealt with your prescription drug addiction?
I realized I was an addict. I went through severe withdrawals in the parish prison. And after my withdrawals, I had my wife contact Mr. Bouchard, find out who he was. And I actually called him collect in the parish and told him who I was, told him I'm the man that robbed you, and I just wanted to apologize. Well, since then, Mr. Bouchard seemed like a real nice man. He said he understood, and I told him I wasn't going to bother him anymore. And since I came into Department of Corrections, I admitted that I was powerless over my addiction. My life had become unmanageable. And I decided I needed to help myself, fix myself, because I was broken. I was in a very dark place, and I started taking programs. I've taken just about every program that's been made available to me for my rehabilitation, religious aspect, drug addiction. I've done just about anything I could to make myself a better person, because I was a bad person back then.
So what is your plan to stay sober, to stay off of these prescription drugs?
I have no desire. I plan to advocate against opioids, and I plan on continuing with my recovery through NA and AA. Really, NA I find more useful because I was on narcotics. I've never been a drinker, and work with other people. Eventually, my ultimate goal would be to try to start a halfway house, a faith-based halfway house. I've got a lot of religious programs under my belt. I'd like to start a faith-based halfway house to help people overcome their addictions just as I have, you know.
When did you hurt your back and start on the prescription meds?
That was in 2000.
Now, you've got a pretty long history before that. I mean, you have a pretty significant criminal history before that, and you had a very poor supervision history. Now, were you on drugs back then?
I smoked marijuana, yes, sir. My problem was marijuana. And through these programs, I found out that marijuana is actually a trigger to do other things, you know.
It wasn't just the prescription meds that got you addicted. It was actually marijuana. I mean, you started out, it looks like in 1975, 1976, 86, 98. And all of your supervisions that you had resulted in revocation for being sent back, mainly because you couldn't comply with the supervision requirements. So when did you actually start smoking marijuana?
In junior high school.
And how often were you smoking marijuana during all of this time?
Yes, sir. Yes.
How often were you smoking?
Almost daily back then.
Have you ever used cocaine or heroin or anything like that?
I've tried cocaine a couple of times and didn't like the effects of it.
When did you do that?
That was probably right after high school. Right after high school.
So it's fair to say, while it's true, and I accept the fact that you were hooked on prescription meds, it started long before you back in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And what is your transition plan? I understand that where will you be going when you get out?
I was going to go to Arkansas with my sister and my mother, but I felt it'd be best if I went through transitional housing through the parole project, you know, to where I would be under supervision still when I'm released, you know.
Tell me what's in Arkansas. What will you be doing there?
Actually, that's part of the thing too, because my sister and my mother live like 50 miles from the nearest city out in the country. And employment would be a problem for me. I was a ASC certified master automotive technician. The parole project has set it up to where I'd have a job at Jerry Lane Chevrolet.
Now, as you've been in prison, I know you've taken living in balance, substance abuse education, recovery dynamics, in a lot of other programs. What programs for substance abuse do you think is the most helpful to you?
Recovery dynamics. I was actually a peer facilitator in recovery dynamics aftercare. That helped me the most. Now, I also making peace with my past because I grew up in a dysfunctional family. My parents were alcoholics. In fact, they were violent alcoholics. And making peace with my past relieved me of some of the guilt I felt about that, because I blame my parents for a lot of things. And I'm really the one to blame for what my problems. But recovery dynamics and recovery dynamics aftercare have been the most helpful programs for me.
Mr. Loeber, your disciplinary history is pretty good. You've only had 7 write-ups and you haven't had any since 2014. But 5 of your 7 write-ups were for fighting. Tell me about that.
Well, I'm getting older. You know, when I first came to DCI, I wasn't, in Angola, it's a lot of respect among inmates. You know, I came here and I wasn't used to a younger group of people, and I'm older, and I wasn't used to the disrespect here, and I would react to it. You know, I would challenge, you know, when I should have just looked the other way. You know?
Mr. Loeber, you mentioned Mr. Beauchard. He is in favor of your release as long as you've got treatment in prison. You have, and that's a good thing. But you know, you mentioned Arkansas, living 50 miles from the country, how are you going to be able to get to AA meetings and make sure that you follow up with your sobriety if you move to Arkansas and way out in the country away from the city? What are your thoughts about making sure you stay sober?
That's why I want, that's why I
Sorry?
want to go, that's why I want to go to the parole project. Because the parole project is already located at AA and NA meeting location. They'll provide me with transportation to and from work at Jerry Lane. Now,
But ultimately,
Arkansas,
I think, am I wrong that ultimately you want to go to Arkansas or no? You want to stay
No.
here?
no, I'm gonna stay here and, hopefully be able to get a travel permit to go see my mom and my sister. I mean, I can't leave the state, so I'd have to go through the parole office to get a travel permit to do that. But my best option for me is to stay here in Baton Rouge under the project supervision.
A couple of things that you can't do anything about. You've got law enforcement opposition. Your needs are low and your risk assessment is low. Warden, what can you tell us about Mr. Loeber?
Good morning, Mr. Barabella. You kind of covered a good bit of it. He's got a really good write-up history. I think his last one was 2014. He arrived at DCI in 06, and then 14 was his last write-up. He is a Pride member, which, we deal with a lot. Yeah, he works the same job for, I think 7 days a week. He works in our boiler room. So he's had the same job for 12 years, I believe. And he does a good job. He causes no issues, and he's always there when we need him.
Thank you very much. Your comments. That's all I have. Mr.
All
Chairman.
right, we're here from Mr. Andrew Hunley.
Andrew Hunley with Louisiana Parole Project, appearing before the board to confirm that Stephen is a client of ours. As Stephen, suggested, the plan is that he would go into our residential reentry program until a time where he can become sufficient and get his own housing. Obviously, that will take several months at a minimum to do, but we commit to housing for him. Until that time, he has obviously great skills. We're confident we're going to be able to connect him to that job that was discussed. And we are also confident that we will be able to provide him with access to, continued care as it relates to his sobriety. He will get a substance abuse evaluation from our staff social worker as soon as he comes on board, and we'll give him recommended follow-up as it relates to his AA meetings and such, and ensure that he gets a sponsor. Long story short, Parole Project's committed to Stephen's long-term reentry, and we have a great deal of confidence in his ability to be successful. Thank you.
Yes, good morning. My name is Radisha Truitt, and I'm just speaking on behalf for Stephen. He is the father-in-law of my daughter, and he is the pawpaw to my 3 grandkids. And I know he's shown remorse through the years for what he's done. And I just think he'd be a positive asset to society at this point, and also in our family, because we need him. The kids need him. The 2 grandboys that I have, they need a male figure in their life, and I just feel like Stephen would be that male figure, and we fully support him in all that that he's going to accomplish, and we're excited.
All right, thank you so much for your comment. All right, we'll hear from Mr. Stephen. You can make a comment, and then Ms. Cameron, if you want to wrap it up at the end, that'd be great. Stephen, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
Yes, sir. I feel that I've done just about everything I could possibly do to make myself a better person. I've been limited because I just came up with this parole date. I've been limited because of the length of my sentence. I could have done much more, but doors were closed on me because of the length of my sentence. But what I could do, I did. And I feel that I'm a better person that came in here because I was in a dark place. My life was unmanageable. I was denying my addiction, you know, but I've admitted it now. I've done everything I could possibly do to make myself a better person and to remain drug-free.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Cameron. Would you like to wrap it up?
Yes, board members, just have a couple of comments. I think, we always hear about that a drug addict needs to hit rock bottom before they can come back up. And I truly believe that Stephen hit that rock bottom when he was in parish prison. He found himself in extreme pain and withdrawal from OxyContin and only credits the other inmates that were with him for the reason that he's alive today. They made sure he was eating and drinking when he really just wanted to give up. Mr. Loeber, as soon as he came out of that withdrawal, began working within the parish prison, asking if he could continue to work because he knew he needed to do better. And then when he came into DOC, when he got committed to DOC, he started his programming even before he had the option of parole. He started trying to make himself a better person. He controls his pain through holistic methods, including stretching and yoga. He refuses any type of painkiller. I don't think that he will ever regress to a drug addict again, and he will do what he needs to do to make sure that he doesn't. His family here, I just wanted to make sure that the board understands he has no plans to go to Arkansas other than just to visit. His family here is Miss Truitt and Miss Slaughter, and they plan on supporting him, and he will be a long-term resident at Parole Project until he can support himself. In addition to them, he's got our law firm. We do not just let go of our clients. We are here for whatever he needs as well. So I just would like to say that I think Stephen is a model of rehabilitation. He has done what he needed to do to prove that to the board. And we just ask that y'all give him a second opportunity to go out and make a difference in the world.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for your comment. Am I fair to vote?
Yes.
Mr. Marabella?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Loeber, you've done well while you've been in prison. You've had some good programs. You've got a good sobriety plan. You've got a good transition plan. The one victim that has responded is not opposed to your release because of the things that you've done. You're low risk, low needs, good comments from the warden. My vote today would be to grant to the Parole Project with conditions. Once you leave through the Parole Project, that you do at least 3 AA meetings a week and continue that even after you leave the program. And I'm also going to request that you do 5 hours of community service per week after you've been out for about 60 or 90 days. I think you've got a good story. You've got good family support, and your family seems to really need you. And you can really help not only your family, but other people as well. So good luck to you.
5 hours
Per month, I'm sorry, per month. 5 hours of community service per month.
All right, Ms. Wise?
Mr. Stephen, I just want to commend you two on the work that you've done. You do have a story to tell about the opioid and how you come out of it. I like the yoga. When I read that, the stretch, that's something you can do with community service. Just kind of start a little group of yoga, and it's just an idea. But best wishes to you, sir. My vote is to grant conditions upon the Louisiana Parole Project and follow all that. I would add random drug screening by PNP. That's my only condition. Best wishes to you, sir.
All right, 2 votes to grant. Also going to vote to grant your parole today for the work you've done. Good institutional record, positive warden comments. You'll report to the Parole Project. You'll have NAA 3 times a week, 5 hours per month of community service, and you'll have random drug screens. You understand the stipulation?
Yes, sir.
2 votes to grant. Your parole's been granted. Good luck to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank all of you.
Wow, and they granted. His full term date was 2053, a 5th class offender, 60 years in jail, 20 years into his 50-year sentence. Way to go. I think that this is a great case of how someone can actually be rehabilitated. What do you think? There's one thing that I feel safe to guarantee. There's one thing that is certain, and that is that we will never see Stephen L. Loeber again.
Stephen Loeber, 87251.
Mr. Loeber, this is a parole revocation hearing. I want to explain our procedure to you. First, I'm going to cover your parole revocation questionnaire. Then I'm going to read the allegations about how you are alleged to have violated your parole. I'll then ask you to plead either guilty, not guilty, or guilty with a statement. Then we'll have a full discussion about the allegations, and you'll have an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say to the board, and then we'll vote. You understand our procedure?
Yes, sir.
Do you have your questionnaire before you? Do you have that
Yes,
with you?
sir.
Okay, would you mind taking a look at it, please? Is that your signature at the bottom on August 31st of 2023?
Yes, sir.
Is that information all accurate and correct still today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you ready to proceed with our hearing?
Yes, sir.
He's got our law firm. We do not just let go of our clients. We are here for whatever he needs as well.
Mr. Loeber, your first alleged violation is number 4. On or about August the 27th of 2023, you were involved in criminal activity in the commission of the offense, theft in East Baton Rouge Parish. You were arrested by the Baton Rouge Police Department on August the 27th, 23, and issued an arrest summons, number 804741. How do you plead to that?
I'm pleading not guilty to that.
All right. Special condition number 13, due to your 8/27/23 arrest, the subject has immediately been removed from the parole project program by the parole project administration offices.
Long story short, parole project's committed to Stephen's long-term reentry, and we have a great deal of confidence in his ability to be successful. Thank you.
It's alleged that you violated a special condition. How do you plead to that?
Not guilty.
Right. Mr. Loeber, your case has been assigned to Mr. Pete Freeman. He will begin our process of interviewing you. Would you please answer any questions he might have?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Loeber, what are you in court for this morning?
For the theft charge, the misdemeanor theft charge.
Why you say you're not guilty of that charge when they got you on film?
Because I've been incarcerated since August 8th. And they were supposed to bring me to court within 30 days on that charge, and they didn't. So now I filed a motion, 701 motion for speedy trial. I didn't get an answer on that. Now today I'm filing a motion to quash because they didn't arraign me within 30 days.
Mr. Loeber, that has nothing to do with these proceedings.
I
Whether or not they have taken too long to prosecute you is a whole different animal.
I
Today, we're
understand.
here to determine whether or not factually you committed the allegations or not. So that's what we're here for.
And I'm gonna explain to you about that. I took the Amazon package off the neighbor's porch. It's a blighted property. I've never seen anybody move in there, no vehicles in and out. The grass is 2 feet tall. It's got trash in the yard. I'm thinking this was abandoned package in front of a blighted property. So I took the package. The package had been rained on. The package had been rained on the day before. The package was there that morning, the day before, that morning, and that evening when I took the package. I
Why
opened
would
it
you
to see
take
if
the
there was
package
an.
that's not yours? Why would you take the package, period?
Because it was raining on it. And I didn't
It was raining on
think
it.
anybody
And
lived
when the
there.
deputies came to your house, you didn't know nothing about it at first. Then you go get the
No, I
stuff.
called the police.
The packages were open, correct?
I opened the package, yes, sir.
Okay, and you're no longer at the parole project, correct?
No, sir.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Anything you'd like to say, Mr. Loeber?
Sir?
Anything you'd like to say before the panel votes?
Yes, sir. Now, this isn't like I went across the street or anything. This is, 30, 40 feet away. I sit out there every evening. I've never seen anybody at this property. No, I've never seen any vehicles in and out of there, no lights on. The people told, when the police officer came, I told him I had the package. I said, here it is, it's intact. I said, I didn't know anybody lived there. He said, I could see why you thought that, you know. And in fact, he told me, he said, I'm not gonna write you a summons until I talk to my supervisor, because the property looks like it's blighted, abandoned, you know, it actually rained on the package. I was trying to give the package to whoever owned it. I wasn't stealing the package. I have a good job. I make good money. You know, I didn't need the package, but it was sitting out there in the weather. And you know, I mean, what I did was, now that I think about it, is actually stupid. You know, I mean, I didn't have theft in anywhere in my thoughts about it. You know, it's just a package been sitting there, and I've been watching it for 2 days. Nobody been in and out of that house ever that I know of. You know, I mean, this is going, you know, it was stupid on my part, you know.
You explained all of this to the parole project,
Yes, sir.
and they
Yes,
still
sir.
kicked you out?
Huh?
And they still kicked you out?
Well, I was moving out anyway. I was already moving out prior to this. I put down a deposit and the rent on the trailer. You know, I was already moving out of the project. You know, I have a job. I have a good job. I work as a mechanic. I make good money. I've been out since January 10th, and I've accomplished a lot. I've got a job. I've got transportation. I've bought tools for my, you know, I got a job as a mechanic. I didn't own a screwdriver. I bought almost $2,000 worth of tools so I could do my job. You know, I bought clothes, all my necessities. Then I'm fixing to move into a trailer. Now, I paid a $600 deposit on the trailer and $600 first month's rent on the trailer. And then I have money in the bank. You know, I mean, it's not like I needed it. I wasn't stealing this package. I didn't need this package. I don't know what's in that package. You know? No, and then I opened the package to see if there was an invoice in it, to see if there was a phone number, something to call for whoever did own it. And when there wasn't, I called the police. I called Baton Rouge City Police and told them I had the package. No, I called the police to report the package.
Huh?
In the report, it indicated that you had taken one of the items in the package and put it in the trash can.
No, that was an empty box. That was an empty box. The package was in 2 boxes. And when I opened it, I took the one box and threw it away and had everything in the one box. You know, because it had stuffing and stuff in it. You know.
The apartment that's across the street, isn't it an area where most people come in and out through the back door? And
No.
not the
No, it's a dead end driveway, and we got houses on this side, a driveway, and then houses on that side with the little carports where you park your cars. There was never any cars over there.
Okay, because we have the father of the resident there called and was very concerned about it. So someone has been living there for a little over a year.
Well, I've never seen anybody.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it wasn't. So
and then it looks blighted.
Yeah.
The grass is 2 foot tall. There's trash all in the yard. There's old car parts in the yard. I didn't know anybody lived there.
Video that we saw, it didn't show all that. It did not show all that.
Doesn't show that at all.
Yeah, it doesn't show what you described.
Nice.
And yeah, that it's blighted. It doesn't, because she has a camera. You are aware that she has a camera on her front door.
Right.
And it doesn't match what you're saying. the picture we got doesn't match what you're saying.
The video also shows that there's a car in that carport.
There was that night when the police came.
No, sir, there was the day you took the package.
Yeah, that was a car here.
No, not
Look
at
at
the
the
time.
video.
We're
sir.
looking at it.
Huh? At the time I took the package, you're saying there was a car parked there.
Looking at the video right now.
Yes, sir.
I didn't see a car parked under that carport at the time.
Okay. I recommend executive session to discuss confidential matters related to this case.
Second,
Second.
a roll call? Yes.
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 Mr. Loeber, we're going to go into executive session to discuss matters of a confidential nature. We're going to pause this hearing momentarily. We'll resume as soon as we finish our executive session.
Okay.
You are trash, Lindsay. You are trash.
Let's call back to order. The time is 8:48. Panel ready to vote?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Okay, Mr. Loeber, quite frankly, you ought to learn to tell the truth. Been doing this for 35 years. You told the truth. I'd have thought about giving you a break since you're back in so much time. But you've done nothing but tell lie after lie after lie. My vote is to revoke.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Ms. Wise?
Mr. Loeber, at the end of the day, you just do not touch other people's property. You can sit there for 5 years. It's other people's property. It's not yours. You could have called the police and said, I noticed this package has been sitting there. What do y'all think I'll do about it? But it's nobody, it's somebody else's property. There are laws against that. So for those reasons, and you admitted in the hearing that you did take the package, something that don't belong to you. And you are in one of the most esteemed programs in the state. So you know right from wrong. My vote is the same for the same reasons.
Mr. Loeber, you received 2 votes to revoke. My vote likewise is to revoke. Your parole has been revoked today. Good luck to you.
Excuse me. What happens if this charge is dismissed?
Nothing.
That's nothing to do with us. This is an entirely separate procedure. Doesn't matter. what happens in-
I'm going back to prison for the rest of my life
Well,
because of this.
there are consequences for your actions, Mr. Loeber.
I got until 2053.
Good luck to you, sir.
Can you even imagine? I know that some of you have seen this before, but only about, I don't know, 10% maybe. For some reason, the YouTube algorithm insists on hiding this. One of the crazier parole revocation hearings that we've seen. I mean, the look on his face, if you can imagine, and I think Mr. Pete Freeman with his mic drop, every once in a while, he drops a big one. It's like you just had to be honest with me. They just wanted honesty. All he had to do was come in and say, I screwed up. All he had to do was come in and say that whatever the truth was, maybe he just can't help himself. He has to steal. He had to see what was in that Amazon box. Maybe, he came back on the, addiction wagon. They would have appreciated that. But the idea that he absolutely refused to admit that what he did was wrong made it so that the parole board locked him away for, till it's a death sentence, really. Now, again, let's go through the dates and process of what we are seeing here, because so he has the parole hearing on November 15, 2022. He's arrested August 27, 2023. And then he has this revocation hearing October 26, 2023. At the time of this hearing, February 2025, maybe we'll see him again. Although I'm not sure with the stricter parole laws about having to serve, I think, 80% of your sentence. And can you imagine giving it all up for that? But what other items do I need to bring up? I think it's important to bring up that his attorney, You know, we've seen her before. I don't know if you remember the case, but there's a case where it's just a lot of us felt this way. She was like massaging the hands of one of the inmates during the entire commutation hearing for like an hour straight. And maybe I was projecting, but I thought he was really disturbed by it. Felt everyone, it was just highly inappropriate. And she actually, this attorney also married a former Angola inmate who was serving a life sentence. It's my understanding, and that's my belief. So I don't know. I don't like it. Don't come here and say we're here for now and we're here forever when this is the time that he needed you most. You could have saved him from a revocation. You could have been there in the room and at least coached him on what to say, or had him not say much of anything and try to say it yourself. Although, I know they don't do that now. It's possible that he never called her. It's possible, like she showed up that one day on his parole hearing and he really had no idea who she was and he didn't have her number. But as you see, the Parole Project, they also say that stuff. Oh, client, I was looking for the footage of it so I could put it in there. You always hear Kerry Myers say, once a Parole Project client, always a Parole Project client. BS. They kicked him out as fast as they could. And it's just, in my opinion, it's just a money-making machine, right? They don't want to deal with the headache, with the trouble. It's just, and he needed the help. And look, I don't feel good about this. He stole an Amazon package. I get it. But life. Now, what he's originally in for is in his jacket. Thank you, Sir Richard. Aggravated battery, armed robbery, simple burglary, and aggravated battery and armed robbery. And oftentimes, because we don't have appeals or anything like this, I wonder if those were reduced charges because if you went to court or not. But even if it wasn't reduced, aggravated battery, that's typically pretty bad. I mean, it's you're robbing someone with a weapon. Maybe you're hurting them, maybe you're hitting them, maybe you're pistol whipping them. I'm not quite sure. But look, he's not a chomo and he hasn't killed anyone. And we have seen people get out. But the problem is, again, it's in his own hands. He just can't help himself. He's a fifth felony offender. He served 20 years on a 50-year sentence. He has everything going for him. He put money down on a trailer, but he just couldn't help it. And I wonder, what do you think was in that Amazon box? I mean, what ridiculous item was in that Amazon box? I wish you would have told us. I now need to know. It's you just can't make this stuff up. But if we do see him again, I'll make sure to pin it in the comment section because I would be kind of I'm just so curious to know.
Loeber, at the end of the day, you just do not touch other people's property. You can sit there for 5 years. It's other people's property. It's not yours. You could have called the police and said, I noticed this package has been sitting there. What do y'all think I'll do about it? But it's somebody else's property. There are laws against that. So for those reasons, and you admitted in the hearing that you did take the package, something that don't belong to you. And you are in one of the most esteemed programs in the state. So you know right from wrong. My vote is the same for the same reasons.
Mr. Loeber, you received 2 votes to revoke. My vote likewise is to revoke. Your parole has been revoked today. Good luck to you.
Excuse me. What happens if this charge is dismissed?
That's nothing to do with us. This is an entirely separate procedure. Doesn't matter what happens.
I'm going back to prison for the rest of my life.
Well,
because of this.
there are consequences for your actions, Mr. Loeber.
I got until 2053.
Good luck to you, sir.